Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be doing a speed review. I love these types of videos. I think they're super helpful. Basically, I've gathered up all the new makeup that I've been trying out for the last month, maybe 2 months, and we're going to be talking about some of those today. I do have some updates, including a couple updates on what I discovered has been breaking me out, and I will tell you right now, it's more than one thing. And because there's a lot of products to get into, we're going to try and go through this very fast. It might be a challenge for me. I do like to talk. But before we jump into all the products, a special welcome to any of you that are new visitors here. Very happy to have you here. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and I hope that you will consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. With that said, let's just get right to it. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Let's start with some eyeshadow palettes. Now, I specifically wanted to mention today all of my Nabla Cutie palettes. I do officially own almost all of these. I think there is one coral palette that I still do not own. I actually couldn't find that one on Ulta's website anymore, so I'm not sure what the deal is with that one. These palettes have been around for a while, but I am a new collector of all of these. I'm a big fan of them, but I want to go through the ones that I think are the very best, and maybe the one or the ones I don't like quite as much. So if I had to pick a top 3 in these palettes, I would go with these ones right here, starting with the nude palette. This is the newer one that I tried out a little over a month ago. I love this palette so much, especially for a very simple everyday look. I absolutely love the shades of these browns. They have this beautiful kind of purpley rosy quality to them that make them very unique for being neutral shades. Beautiful colors in this one. I think this might be my #1 favorite, even though it is simple. I love the everyday looks that come out of this one. My second favorite would probably be the platinum palette. Now, I don't wear a silver every single day, but when I'm in the mood for a silver, this is like the ultimate silver in all of my collection. It is absolutely stunning, so metallic, so sparkly. It's lovely. I absolutely love it. And I love the other shades inside here as well. I love that you get this kind of like greenish, slightly brassy bronze. I love these two kind of taupe shades right here, and then some really good neutrals as well. Beautiful palette. And then my third favorite would have to be the analog palette. This is another really fun one that has some really nice warm neutrals that's also a little bit fun and different as well. I love this shimmer in here. I think I've talked about it quite a few times, but those would be my top 3. I really love these two as well, the Metropolitan palette and the Wild Berry palette. Those are both really stunning. The one I'm still kind of on the fence about, and not because I don't think it's good, is the Midnight palette. I actually still have not used this blue right here. I want to do it. I mean, there's a part of me that wants to just get on here and film a video of something really bold and colorful that I would never, ever, ever wear out in public, just for the fun of it, and because I wish I was brave enough to do that. I mean, look at this swatch, you guys. It's unlike any other blue that I've ever swatched before. It is incredibly bold, incredibly vibrant, incredibly not me, but I still think it's so pretty I want to play with it. So if you're into blues, this would probably be a fantastic one for me. I'm still just a little too intimidated, especially by a blue like that. But I do like the navy. I have used the bronze in here and this kind of teal color. Those are all lovely shades. Let's go into a couple skin products that I suspect might be breaking me out. One of them I'm quite certain of. The other one I'm still kind of investigating, but I'm suspicious of. First off, the one I'm certain of is the Milani Glow Hydrating Skin Tint. Very sad to report that this is officially breaking me out. I tried it out for a few days. I got a couple breakouts. I stopped using it. And when I reintroduced it, I got the exact same breakouts reoccurred, and they were the ones right here on the side of my nose, which is not a place that I typically break out. I'm really sad about it because I love the glow that this gives your skin. It doesn't give you a lot of coverage, but it gives you a really pretty, even skin tone, a really nice, healthy glow, and it smells really, really yummy. Maybe that's what was breaking me out, but it is officially on my no-go list because as much as I love how this looked on my skin, I can't deal with the breakouts. Another one that I'm really sad about is this moisturizer from Refer. They sent this to me about 2 months ago, and for the first week or two that I used it, I didn't notice it was breaking me out, but then I slowly started to get those breakout issues. This was the first thing that I reintroduced, and I noticed that I got a couple of little spots, like breakout spots here on my cheek area or jawline right there. That is a place that if something's going to break me out, it's usually here on my jawline or here under my chin. And I did notice some of those breakouts reoccur when I reintroduced this. I've stopped using it for now. I'm going to try and reintroduce this again because I'm still suspicious that it didn't break me out that first week, and then it seemed to start breaking me out. I don't know what it is. It's not scented. It seems like a really nice, very hydrating but not heavy moisturizer. It does have niacinamide, dimethicone, it has meadow foam seed oil, whatever that is, and also hyaluronic acid. It's really, really nice. It feels really great on the skin. It's not scented at all. So I'll try again to get to the bottom of this one, but it's on my suspect list. So I wanted to give you guys an update on this one. Even though I do think it's a really lovely moisturizer, there's just that possibility this might be breaking me out. Let's go through a couple things that I really liked that I recently tried out. There's this right here. This is the Laura Mercier Matte Radiance Baked Powder in the highlight version. I think it's called the Matte Radiance. powder, but it's a highlighter. I really like this as a more subtle highlighter. I don't often like very subtle highlighters, but this one is just right. It reminds me a little bit of the Essence Pure Nude highlighter, but it is a little bit different. It is the one that I am wearing on my skin today. I don't know if you can see that kind of subtle highlight right there. It's really beautiful. It works great for my skin tone. It gives me like a really soft kind of subtle glow. Definitely a good one for those of you that like a more subtle highlighter. I've been really happy with this. I did pick this up at my Marshalls. I think this is still available though at Sephora. I will link it down below in case you're interested, but I'm very impressed with this. Another one that I'm liking, I've mentioned this in a favorites video recently, it's the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. I wanted to give you guys an update on this one today though, because I have now officially tried this out using both a sponge, a brush, and my fingers. I got some recommendations from some of you guys to try it using your hands or your fingers. I do really like that form of application as well. Honestly, I like this equally with my fingers or with a sponge. It just doesn't work for me with a brush. It's a little bit streaky with a brush, but other than that, I think it's amazing. I love how this wears on my skin. It's very long wearing and it doesn't settle into my fine lines, especially in really troublesome areas like my forehead wrinkles. I get settling into my wrinkles on my forehead almost instantly, and this one doesn't seem to do that very much. So I've been pretty impressed with this foundation. It's super pricey. $49 for me is a lot for a foundation. So it's not one that I reach for on like an everyday average day when I'm not really going anywhere basis, but when I want my foundation to last and to look really nice, this is a really, really good one. One thing that I have kind of mixed feelings about, there's a part of me that really, really likes this, and there's some things that I don't love so much about it. It's a product that's actually been around for a while. It's the e.l.f. Cream Contour Palette. This, I really love these two shades right here. So I can mix these two shades together and use them as a cream bronzer, and I think it makes a beautiful cream bronzer. It is the one that I'm wearing on my cheeks today. However, these two shades right here are pretty much useless to me. This is a little bit too greasy to use as like a highlight for me, and this one is much too dark, it turns much too orange when I blend it out. So I can't really use either of those two shades, which I always hate when there's a palette. Maybe hate's a strong word, but I don't like when there's a palette that I feel like I'm only using half of the products inside of it. But that said, it is an affordable product. I do really like these two, and I would say if you have a deeper skin tone than me, more of like a solid medium skin tone, I think this would be an even better option for you. Okay, let's talk about two more things that I think are sadly breaking me out. First off, this one right here. I'm actually really sad about this one. This is from my Yes Style video. It's the Misha Glow Concealer. I love how this concealer performs on me, but it does, when I use on the perimeter of my face, give me breakouts along my jawline, kind of here around my mouth, which is really unfortunate because this is a shade and a concealer formula that I really like for the perimeter of my face, but I can't really use it there. It just sadly breaks me out. I love the packaging of it. It's really fancy feeling for how affordable this was. I want to say this was around $10, which I think is a pretty good price for a really nice concealer. But sadly, I've reintroduced this twice and gotten breakouts both times that I reintroduced it. So sad. Such a great shade of concealer for me. Really nice, lightweight formula, really nice and hydrating, but there's just something in here. It's not the scent. It doesn't smell like anything, but something in here is breaking me out. So it's got to be a no. Another no for me, sadly, is the Cushion Foundation from Moonshot. I'm really sad about this one too. I actually really liked how this wore or looked on my skin. It was much more of like a natural kind of nearly matte finish, but it wasn't drying by any means, but it did break me out. I'm so sad about it more than anything because the packaging of this thing is just so beautiful, but this thing was pretty pricey. I think I paid nearly $20 for this. I want to say it was about $17, $18. And I don't think you get a ton of product in Cushion foundations, and if it's going to break me out, I mean, there are some things that I can settle for, but breakouts at my age always end up leaving scarring. So I have to avoid breakouts at all costs, and sadly, this is just one of those products for me. Let's talk about a couple other things from that Yes Style video that were just kind of like meh, that maybe didn't quite work for me. First off, this blush right here. This is the Heart Cookie Blush from Etude House. It's adorable, adorable packaging. Sadly, this is a little bit hard to open, number one. There we go. Super cute, but as cute as this is, this shade was just a little too light for me. Now, if you're someone that has a lighter skin tone than me, I think this would be a beautiful little blush. It is super, super adorable. It looks like a cookie in there. Look at this little sponge thing, although I do prefer to use this with a brush, but it was just too light to even show up on my skin. Another one that I've actually kind of reversed my thoughts on is this highlighter right here. Now, I mentioned in that video I was kind of excited about this because it is a pretty close dupe to Double Gleam by MAC, but the more I've used this, the more I've discovered that this one is just a little bit more glittery than Double Gleam, and the package is just so small that for the price you pay for this, I honestly think you'd be better off just getting Double Gleam from MAC. I think value-wise, it's probably going to be about the same value. I do think the packaging of this is kind of cute, so if you're looking for something small and travel-friendly, I think it's a good highlighter. It's just not a great highlighter, and I don't think the value is quite there for how much product you're getting. Another K-Beauty product that was a major no for me is this liquid eyeliner pen from Tony Moly. Now, I'm just going to say a major no for me in general are just liquid eyeliner pens. period. They just don't work for me, and I think the biggest reason for that is initially I thought it was my inexperience with them, but I actually think it's my age. Like, I think as my eyelids have gotten a lot more liney, they're just not forgiving for me. I find that any liquid liner emphasizes the lines or the bumps on my lash line pretty severely to where it looks like a child put on my eyeliner, which is not a good look. This one seemed especially to do that. It wore really well, so maybe if you are into liquid liners, if that's kind of your thing. I just generally don't like liquid liners because I can't seem to get them to look good on my eyelids. Let's talk about the two eyeshadows that I tried out. Now these I'm kind of giving like a solid 7. They weren't bad, but they weren't great, and for the price you pay for both of them, I mean, I feel like the value is definitely not there. This thing is adorable. It's super cute. It's actually pretty good quality. I did use it in that Yes Style video, but I paid about $10 for this, and it is ultra tiny. So unless you're looking for something extremely tiny and compact and travel friendly, I'd probably pass on this. I don't think it's like out of this world great. It's good, just not great, and kind of pricey for what you're getting. And I kind of feel the same way about this tiny little Misha trio right here. This is just a single eyeshadow, but it's kind of set up as like 3 different shades. You can technically use this for a single eye look. It is the only thing that I am wearing on my eyelids today. This is a decent look. I think it's nice. It's not creative by any means, very simple, but if you're looking for something super travel friendly, this will definitely do that for you. But I think this is about $5 or $6, maybe even $7, and it's actually pretty small, a little bit troublesome to get your brush in there if you really want to separate out those colors. And while the formula is nice, it's not like really fancy or anything. It's just really kind of like so-so. Now let's go through a couple things that really worked well for me. First off, the Bare Edge Brow Fixer. I mentioned this in my last favorites video. I am loving this brow gel. This is what I think I will repurchase. I actually have another one from Etude House, this one right here. I like this one as well. This one is a little bit more crunchy than this one, but this one holds just as well. So I'd probably repurchase this one before I repurchase the Keep My Brows, the clear brow gel from them. I also really loved these two brow pencils. This one right here, the Pony Effect one, it's a little pricier. I want to say this one was more like, I think it was like $9 or $10 for this pencil. It's a little fancier. It looks and feels a little more high-end, but the color of this one is a little warm for me. It works for me okay because my roots are a little bit warmer right now. Has a really nice spoolie on it. I love the rose gold effect on the lids and on the writing, but generally I prefer something just a little bit more cool tone. By the way, this one is in the shade Natural Brown. This one right here, I think I prefer, and it is a little bit cheaper. This was closer to $5. This is from Peri Para, the Speedy Skinny Brow. Still really nice packaging, really simple packaging that reminds me a lot of the Ulta Beauty packaging. Really nice spoolie and better shade match for me. This one's also in Natural Brown. Did I already say that? Let me just see if I can get a good healthy swatch of these two colors so that you guys can kind of see how they differ. Pretty similar in a swatch. The warmth of this one, you really can just tell in your brows. It's pretty subtle, but this one right here in my brows, actually I think you can see it. You can see it has just a little bit of that kind of like tiny bit of red in it that I can kind of notice in my brows, whereas this one seems to match a little bit better for me. Both are great. This one's a better price though, and I think for the price, this one is my favorite. I want to briefly mention my Butter London Power Up Mascara. I know I've talked a lot about this, so I'm sorry to bring it up again, but you guys, I almost picked this in my top 10 high-end makeup video. I ended up going with the Thrive because that mascara just does something that I'm not quite sure this one does, but I will just say this. This is actually a really nice long-wearing mascara. Haven't quite tested it out to the spring weather conditions, but you guys, I love this mascara. I love what it does for my lashes. It is the one that I'm wearing on my eyes today. I don't know how well you can see what it's doing for my lashes, but it gives me the best volume and length combined. It makes me look like I have a million lashes, which very few mascaras actually do that, and that's one of the things I love the very most, when it looks like I have a ton more lashes than I actually think I do, or than other mascaras make me look like I do. I just think this is such an amazing mascara that I know probably no one's talking about. I have a feeling they're phasing this one out, so I definitely need to buy a backup before it's discontinued forever. It's fantastic. It's one I've had a hard time putting down over the last couple months. I have these two cream cheek products right here. I mentioned this one in a favorites video. I love this shade. This is the shade Almond Terracotta. It's a beautiful kind of rosy, almost bronzy shade. It's really, really beautiful and natural looking. I love that one. And this one right here is in the shade, oh, I forget the name of this shade. It's CL05, whatever that means, but I love this one as well. I'm wearing this one on my cheeks today. These are really nice cream blush formulas, especially for those of you that don't like something that's too tacky feeling, something that's a little bit more satiny. These definitely give you more of like a satin finish. They don't give you that kind of tacky feel on your cheeks if you don't like that in a cream blush, but they're really easy to blend. I really like both of these. However, if I had to pick just one blush or cheek product from that video, it would actually be this lip product right here that I mentioned in my last favorites video. This is the Juicy Lasting Tint by Romand, you guys. I'd actually love to go back and just buy all of the shades of these, although I think there's like a million different versions and shades of this Juicy Lasting Tint. The one I have is in the shade 23 Nucadamia, and it is absolutely stunning. I love the color of this one, but more than anything, what I love about this, I know I've said this a few times, so I apologize if you guys have heard this, but let me just reiterate what I've said 5 times. This is the most beautiful texture on your cheeks. It's super, super dewy and hydrating, but it's not sticky by any means. It's beautiful. It smells like apple juice. I love this on my cheeks so much. It's one of my favorite cheek products that's not actually meant for your cheeks. But I also want to give an update on the Persona Bubble Blush. I have been having so much fun with this blush color. It is super intimidating looking, but I love how this looks on the cheeks. It's such a fun color to kind of brighten up your complexion for spring. I especially think this color would be amazing if you have more like medium to deep skin tones. I think this would be such a fun color for you. I love the Persona blush formula, and this one is just the same. It's perfectly pigmented. It's not too pigmented or not pigmented enough. Really easy to work with, easy to blend, really fun color, very, very fun blush. Very happy with this one. All right, I think we are just about there. I have just a couple more things to mention for you guys. I want to give one more mention to my single blusher from the same. This one is in Naked Brown. I also got a blush from them. There's a million shades of this stuff, by the way. I think there's a few bronzer shades, a bunch of blush shades. I haven't even tried the blush yet. I've been trying so many other blushes out. That one's just kind of got overlooked, so I'll have to include that in another review video. But this right here is fantastic for those of you that have light to fair skin. It's a near perfect dupe to the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow, the contour shade in this right here. They go on almost identically. Same formula, same finish, beautiful natural color. I love this stuff. I think it's the best $4 or $5 you could spend at Yes Style. Maybe even one of my best makeup finds of the year. We'll see. We'll see how that holds up, but so far it's looking pretty promising. And the last thing I want to mention for you guys today is this right here, the Peri Para Double Longwear Concealer. I'm a big fan of this concealer. This one does not break me out. It is a little bit lighter, but this is a perfect concealer for me, at least shade-wise for me. By the way, you probably need to know the shade. I have the shade 02 Natural Beige. Great shade to kind of lighten up certain areas of my face, like to use as a highlighter or like a concealer down like the center of my face. I do have some sunspots that I get here in the center of my forehead that I like to put a lighter shade of highlighter on, or not highlighter, concealer on. It works really well for that. It's nice and hydrating, really good coverage, but not too heavy or cakey. It doesn't settle into my fine lines. It is what I'm wearing on the center of my face and under my eyes today, but I love it. I think it's great formula, and for the price that I paid for this, I want to say it was around $7 to $9. Great bang for your buck, really nice concealer. Actually, we have one more thing. I almost forgot this one. Wanted to give you guys an update on the Olive and June press-on nails. So I have officially tried out 3 different versions of these, and I have some really mixed feelings about these. So number one, initially I kind of had a hard time working with them because I had never used press-on nails in my life, but by the second time I used them, I actually really liked these because they last on your nails. If you do the version where you put the glue over your entire nail bed, they will stay on your nails for like 2 full weeks before they start to kind of come off. And I loved having nice looking nails for 2 weeks without having to worry about touching things up or things starting to chip after a couple days, which even my Olive and June nail colors, most of the colors, after 2 or 3 days, if I'm not being super careful with my nails, I do start to get some chipping on some of the nails. So basically I end up having to paint my nails every 3 or 4 days. Not with these. These made my nails look amazing for like 2 full weeks, which was so amazing. However, they're very, very difficult to remove, and I actually found that the best way to get these off is just to wait for them to kind of come off on their own. Usually once one pops off, the rest are pretty close, so I'll kind of just start like working on them a little bit to kind of loosen up that glue, and hopefully they'll all kind of pop off in a day or 2, which you can imagine might be a little bit weird looking if you have like half of your nails missing. Now if you have something going on, you need to reapply one, you can, but then you're kind of starting back at square one. They do have a nail remover, but it's really hard to work with, and it's very tricky to get them off if you're not just like waiting for them to pop off. The other thing that's a little bit troublesome with them is they do, if you wear them for a long period of time, so like if you take these off and then put another set right back on, they can do some damage to your nail bed. I don't know that you guys will be able to see this, but especially my thumbnails, down at the bottom of my thumbnails, they're kind of like dented. I imagine that probably is something that will be there until it kind of starts to grow out. Hopefully it's not permanent damage. It's pretty subtle, so it's not anything I'm too upset about, but it definitely is something that keeps me like thinking twice about using these over and over and over again, because I imagine if you just kept putting these back on, maybe they would damage your nails permanently. As for the versions they come in a long, a medium, and a short version, I believe. I have tried all 3 of them. The long ones were a little bit, not a little bit, they were way too long for me. I actually had to kind of trim and file them down, which you can do. I definitely like the short version the best. It kind of works for my nail style. My nails rarely get longer than this. This is my natural nail. I do plan to order another 1 or 2 of these next time I order from Olive & June, but I think I'll just kind of space them out, maybe only use them once a month or every other month. But I did really enjoy these. Probably not something I'd wear all the time, but definitely something that I would consider buying again. And that's it, you guys. Those are all the updates I have. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I'm thinking about doing these videos like every quarter, because I know there's sometimes if things don't make it into a favorites video, that doesn't always necessarily mean that I'm not enjoying some of the products that I've tried. And oftentimes there's things that I discover about products that I don't know on my first impression or the first time I try it. So let me know if you guys would like to see me do these every quarter or so. Let me know down below. Hope you guys are all doing well. Thank you guys so much for watching today, for joining me. Let me give you one more reminder. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing that before you leave. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks again. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.